All right, let's dive right into the world of competitive fencing.
Sounds exciting.
It is, especially with this new athlete council that USA Fencing is putting together.
Oh, council.
Yeah, for the next 4 years, 2024 to 2028. And we're going to be looking at this article from USA Fencing themselves. That announces the whole thing.
Ah, straight from the source.
Exactly. And this isn't just some administrative board. This is about how the athletes themselves are going to shape the future of the sport.
Ooh, I like where this is going. So who are these athletes? Anyone we might know?
Well, the article highlights a couple of big names, at least for me. Garrick Meinhardt and Lee Kiefer.
Oh, wow, Olympians. Now, those are some serious players in the fencing world.
That's what I was thinking. Having Olympians on this council, that's got to have some serious weight, right?
For sure. I mean, just think about the experience they bring. Years of competing at the highest level, understanding what it takes to succeed, plus being Olympians gives them, a platform. People listen when they speak.
So they can really advocate for, what? Better training programs, more support for athletes.
Absolutely. And they've already been vocal about some of those issues even before joining the council. Meinhardt, for instance, has been pushing for better funding for athletes, especially those who aren't, already at the top.
And Kiefer, what about her?
She's been really passionate about coaching development, making sure that athletes at all levels have access to quality coaching. So yeah, having them on this council means those issues are going to be front and center.
Okay, so we've got these big names, these Olympians, who can really make their voices heard. But what about the council itself? What exactly are they supposed to do?
Well, the article sums it up with this tagline, Champions for Fencers by Fencers.
Champions for fencers by fencers. Catchy, but what does it actually mean for, like, the everyday athlete?
Well, it's all about giving athletes a direct voice in how the sport is run, not just leaving it all up to administrators and officials. This council is their chance to say, hey, we're the ones out there on the piste. We know it needs to change.
I see. So it's like having a representative body, but for athletes, by athletes.
Exactly. They can bring up issues that are important to them, advocate for changes to rules or regulations, even influence how things like qualifying for competitions are structured.
So it's not just about, like, complaining about stuff they don't like.
No, no, not at all. It's about actively shaping the future of the sport, making it better for everyone involved. And honestly, it's a trend we're seeing in a lot of sports these days. Athletes are demanding more, more control over their destinies.
So it's like a shift in power dynamics.
You could say that. It's about recognizing that athletes are the heart of any sport, and they deserve to have a seat at the table when decisions are being made.
I mean, that makes sense, but are there any potential downsides to, having a council dominated by athletes?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, there's always the risk of, I don't know, maybe biased decisions or conflicts of interest. Like, if someone on the council has a personal stake in a particular issue,
So how do you prevent that?
that's where having a balanced council is key. You need diversity, not just in terms of experience, but in perspectives, too. So yeah, you want athletes, but you also need coaches, administrators, maybe even sponsors, people who can offer different viewpoints and challenge assumptions.
So it's like finding that sweet spot where everyone's voice is heard, but no one group has too much sway.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance, that collaboration that ultimately benefits the entire sport.
This is really fascinating stuff. I mean, it makes me wonder, what kind of impact will this council actually have on the U.S. fencing landscape?
That's the big question, isn't it? It's hard to say for sure, but the potential is huge. I mean, with athletes directly involved in shaping policy, we could see a greater emphasis on athlete well-being, increased transparency in decision-making.
More support at the grassroots level.
Definitely. And who knows, maybe we'll even see a change in how the sport is perceived by the public. It's a really exciting time to be following U.S. fencing.
I agree. So for anyone listening out there, if you're interested in seeing how this all plays out, I'd say keep a close eye on USA Fencing. Check out their website. Follow some of these athletes on social media. This council's decisions could have ripple effects throughout the entire sport.
It's going to be fascinating to see how it all unfolds.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
I always learn something new with these. Until next time.
See ya.